We are live, gentlemen.
Perfect. Hello and welcome to our online event today, hosted by SabeeApp, the future of hotel payments. My name is Kenny. I'm the Business Development Manager here at SabeeApp, based in the UK. So with the new regulations, the hotel industry faces essential changes this year regarding online payments and reservation guarantees. Today, we're going to show you the best tools and practices which can help hotels successfully adapt to these changes. So we're going to hear from our two speakers, and afterwards we're going to have a question and answer session. So please feel free to type in any questions as we go along, and I'll ask these to the speakers at the end. So firstly, we're going to look at how hotel payments adapt to PSD2. What are PSD2 regulations and why are they important? What are the key factors you should be paying attention to? And lastly, what are the most PSD2 proof solutions that we can make your hotel payments easier? So with that, I'd like to introduce David to you. David is our Global Sales Manager here at SabeeApp, in charge of making cloud hotel solutions available for a worldwide audience of hoteliers. With 10 years of experience in the field of hospitality and tourism, he's passionate about bringing innovation to the industry. Prior to joining us, David worked for Accor Hotels, Eurostar Hotels, and latterly Agoda. So David, the floor is yours.
Really appreciate the introduction. Thank you, Kenny. I'm going to launch the presentation and ask for a confirmation from your end if you can see it.
Perfect.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. So I've prepared a topic today which concerns all of us hoteliers here in the European region. We've had lots of changes to adapt to in over the course of this past year with the COVID pandemic. Now slowly hotels are able to reopen in certain countries, which is a positive sign. But the demand is different because we're still steps away from opening up borders to international or even interregional travelers. So the demand in the upcoming months is going to be domestic leisure travelers, which is again another change that we have to adapt to, and especially puts a big challenge on urban hotels. And among all of these changes, we have yet another one, which is regarding payments, and that's the topic that I want to talk today, to get an understanding about what PSD stands for. We need to define that first, and then once we have this knowledge, going forward on how we can adapt to it and what solution we can introduce to improve and to continue working in the future. So with that said, when I wrap up the presentation, I hope you'll have at least a basic understanding of what PSD2 is and on how we can adapt to it. PSD stands for Payment Services Directive, and there are a couple of acronyms that I have to throw at you during this presentation. It won't be much, but it's necessary to understand the meanings and what PSD represents. It is basically a legal framework developed by the European Union, and it is regulating how payment service providers operate. Payment service providers are basically third parties helping merchants to complete transactions. So these can be banks, fintech companies who essentially connect hotels, for example, to a broader financial environment, being able to make transactions. And right now, PSD is its second version, sort of like an updated version, which was introduced back in 2015, and it slowly came to introduction. Now here in 2021, it is something that merchants need to comply by. And I know that we have hoteliers joining in from the UK, so I just wanted to highlight that even though Brexit happened, parts of the PSD2 directive are still ongoing and applicable for the UK market, such as strong customer authentication that I will touch upon in a bit. I wanted to mention three main points about PSD, which I think it's important to remember. The first being the introduction of new security requirements. This is going to make transactions more secure. This is going to provide a bigger protection against fraudulent charges, and just make online transactions safer in general. The second point being a fair playing field, a level playing field for existing and new PSPs to enter into the market. This is going to create higher competition among payment service providers, which is competition when handled in a fair way. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for merchants. It's a good thing for customers. It thrives innovation, new technologies, better conditions. So when handled correctly, it's just better for all of us involved. And the third point that I wanted to highlight was this so-called access to accounts, which is a technological environment which is slowly being rolled out. What it essentially means is that merchants will be able to retrieve bank account information of customers, and will be able to process charges, of course, with the consent of the customer, without us having to enter in credit card details at all. So the way that we do online transaction now is that we are directed to a payment site, and we use the credit card details to complete the transaction. Now this is going to change. It's going to be a lot more similar to how we create new accounts with technology providers. In case of creating an account using your Facebook or your Google account, so instead of having to enter in details manually, you can just use those details to create an account. It's going to be similar to that with transactions. So when we talk about more secure online transactions, it's very important to talk about SCA. SCA stands for Strong Customer Authentication, which is essentially a process of customers having to acknowledge and confirm a transaction before it can be completed. This can be done in three ways. The first being using something that the customer knows. This can be a password or a PIN code. The second method can be something that the customer owns, which is a device, a smartphone. And the third method is something that the customer is, which is a biometric authentication, usually fingerprint ID or face recognition. I'm sure that the majority of you have already encountered some form of strong customer authentication in the past months. This is something that's new to us still, but it's going to become a lot more familiar as time passes by. Of course, there's still long ways to go. There needs to be education. The trust needs to be built out. But in the near future, it's going to be something that we are completely used to, and it's the commonly accepted way of doing online transactions. Now, there's a valid question that now that we know what SCA stands for, is there a way to process transactions online or card not present, so-called card not present transactions without having to comply with SCA? And the answer technically is yes. There is a so-called mobile order, telephone order type of transaction. Again, yet another acronym. It's called MOTO for short. And this actually serves the purpose of being able to charge, make a charge by entering in the credit card details, but the card is not present. So the customer is not there to authenticate the transaction. But it comes with some serious drawbacks. So I've listed them below. So when you're making a MOTO payment, it all sounds like the transactions that we're used to processing in the past, but it comes with a higher chance of chargeback disputes. Chargeback disputes is something that us hoteliers want to avoid. So this is something of like completely want to avoid. And with the case of MOTO transactions, there's a very high chance that this can happen. There's also high risk of fraudulent card details. So when we're talking about SCA, the one of the pros is that customers every time are authenticating, confirming the transactions on their own. So there's no place for disputes because they've agreed that the payment is legit. But with the MOTO, it's again, we come back to making a charge where we only have the credit card details, but we're not getting consent from the customer. And there's a good chance that these credit card details could be fake. Also, higher transaction fees apply. Plus, there's also a term called rolling reserve, which is connected to the high chance of chargeback dispute. That this means that there is a certain percentage, around 30% of the transaction value, which is kept in lockdown for a couple of months. This could be 90 days, 180 days, which is sort of kept as a guarantee for the case of receiving a chargeback dispute. So you don't get 30% of the transaction for a month. Plus, it requires the introduction of an additional terminal, virtual or physical. So it comes with many drawbacks. And now that we have the fundamentals, I want to continue with the questions on how we can adapt to customer authentication and to these PSD2 requirements, because we know now that online transactions can only be processed with the guest consent. And in the case of the hotel industry, reservations are created well in advance before check-in. So the guest is not going to be present, not going to be able to authenticate the transaction with the hotel. So those practices that we are so used to, namely that we receive a credit card so-called guarantee for a reservation, which allows us to cover for any cancellation fee or no-show fee, damage penalty fee, given the fact that the credit card guarantee works, because it's again not always the case, is useless. So this practice is now completely outdated. So the answer to this question is really to involve the guests in the hotel's payment workflows, and this is something that us at SabeeApp stood by since the very beginning. We always believe that the guest is a crucial part of any hotel operation, and if we are able to make the whole workflow more transparent, more understandable, and involve the guest in it, we're not only saving administration for our team, but we're also able to provide a better guest experience, and that's what technology is supposed to do. So it's not here to replace human interaction. We really believe that hospitality is done by people. Technology is here to help us focus on these human interactions, and this is the case with payments. So what type of payments are we dealing with as hoteliers? So we have two types. We have online payments and we have card present payments. So with online payments, this is always linked to some type of reservation. It can either be a reservation with flexible cancellation policies, it can be a reservation with non-refundable policies, and it can be an OTA collect type reservation. This is when the guest pays the booking value during the booking process on the OTA site. As for card present payments, this happens when the guest is on site, stands in front of the front desk, and hands over the card for the front desk team to make the charge and print the invoice. So I just want to take a look at these types of transactions, on how these can work through SabeeApp and through our payment partner, MyPost. So the first up, we have from the online payments, flexible type reservation. So with a flexible reservation, we're still collecting a guarantee. So we need to make sure that we have some sort of guarantee from the guest that allows us to keep the room reserved for them. And this is done through successful pre-authorization. That's done by the guest. We notify the guest automatically that in order to confirm the reservation, hold the room, we require a successful pre-authorization from them in advance. And I wanted to just speak a little bit about pre-authorization, because I'm sure that many of you are familiar with this term, but maybe some of you are not. So pre-authorization basically means there is a temporary hold on a certain amount on a credit card. So it's not a finalized charge yet. That money is on hold and it's not accessible for the customer for a certain period of time. So those funds are reserved for a future payment. And this workflow, the guest making a successful pre-authorization, the value of it pretty much depends on the hotel. The hotel defines the payment and the cancellation terms. This can apply for reservations regardless of the source. So flexible reservations can arrive through OTAs, they can arrive through the hotel's website, or they can be added manually by the front desk team. And with this guarantee that we have, in case there is a late cancellation or a no-show, we can charge this corresponding penalty fee through this pre-authorization that we have. So there's no revenue loss in case of late cancellation or a no-show, because we have the pre-authorization to back it up. Also, some upsides that we don't have to worry about incorrect or invalid credit card details, which is something that's happening constantly in the back office of hotels, that we are checking the validity of credit cards with some sample charges like crazy, to to make sure that we have a valid guarantee. And we can also, with this process, we can also avoid of running into insufficient funds, because it's one thing that we know that the credit card is working, but we don't know how much funds there, what funds are available on it. So this was the flexible reservation time. Moving on to non-refundable, it's a little bit different, but the fundamentals are the same. So we notify the guests automatically that they are requested to pay either a full amount or a partial amount of the reservation up front. That's the whole idea of non-refundable rate plans, that we want to sell rooms well in advance, and for these guests we offer a higher discounted rate, but in return we uphold our right to process the charge at the moment of booking. So this helps us to sell rooms in advance, and also to increase our cash flow at that time, at the time of booking. And this works a similar way as the flexible part, except that this is a completed transaction. So we're not talking about pre-authorization, but a completed charge. The guest is notified automatically, is redirected to a customer portal, which is an interface that's found on the SabeeApp booking engine. And on this portal, the guest can review booking information, payment details, and can process the payment on the spot and through MyPOS. And this way, since it's a self-service method, the guest is authenticating the charge on the customer portal. Every successful payment is going to be logged inside the SabeeApp PMS. You don't even need to worry about keeping track of these payments. Like I say that when we can, it's better to avoid these types of human errors. This is exactly the part where there is no added value from humans, of humans entering in successful payment charges into a PMS. That's not what we are good at. So we're good at human interaction. We're good at greeting guests and making them feel at home. This is something that technology can take care of for us. In terms of unsuccessful payments, because this can also happen that even the guest is notified they haven't completed the payment, those reservations are going to be listed inside the PMS, and then it's for the hotel to control. They can uphold their right to cancel those reservations. The third type of online payments are the so-called VCCs, and I promise this is the last abbreviation that I'm going to use. So VCC stands for virtual credit cards. In case of OTAs such as Booking.com, Expedia, and Agoda, the guest pays the reservation during the booking process. So they pay on the online travel agency site. And the way that the hotel receives the payment is through a virtual credit card that is issued by the OTA. This is always valid. The correct funds are uploaded there, minus, of course, the OTA's commission. And these VCC details are synchronized into the SabeeApp PMS along with the reservation. And with one click, you can charge either one by one or in bulk the VCCs which are activated, because each OTA manages these VCCs a little bit differently. The main difference is on the time when the VCC is enabled. So when it is activated and the hotel is able to charge. These are shown inside the system. And then we have one more type of transaction to cover, and those are the card-present payments. So this is when we're making payments on the spot at the front desk. So here again, with our partner MyPOS, it is possible to order physical terminals. We have a whole range of different terminals supported, which will be covered during the next presentation. So I'm not going to talk too much details about that. What is really really exciting that we are able to provide through technology is that directly from the SabeeApp PMS, you are able to send the transaction amount to the connected MyPOS terminal. So you don't even need to bother with typing in amounts, maybe making a mistake. That can be done through the PMS, and in case of a successful transaction, the transaction is recorded on the reservation page. Here we have the list of supported currencies. SabeePay is currently available for hotel partners located inside the European Economic Area, as well as in the United Kingdom and Switzerland. The full list of currencies supported are available on the SabeeApp page, as well as on the MyPOS page. And I wanted to touch on the topic of transaction fees, which is very important to talk about, because SabeePay covers the majority of revenue stream for hotels, and transaction fee starts from 2%. This is per successful transaction, and it is based on the guest's credit card type. It can range from 2% up to 3.5%. The card type is differentiated between guests guests either consumers or commercial, so business travelers or leisure travelers. And if either the card is issued within the EEA, so the European Economic Area, or outside the EEA. The full list of transaction fees are also found on our website. And it's important to highlight that the same transaction fees apply for both the online payments that we just talked about, and also the card present payment through terminals. There's no fixed monthly subscription fees or any setup fee, and the registration process on how it goes with MyPOS, it's actually going to be covered in the next presentation. Just a heads up, it's a lot different than what we are used to with traditional banks and all that hassle. The basic guideline for starting with SabeePay is registering on the MyPOS website, essentially creating a merchant account. There is a verification process involved just to make sure that the legal representative is cleared. This can be done through their smartphone application, which is again something that I'm very fond of, because it shows a way into the future, and I like that a lot. The third step, once this is done, is to create an online store inside your MyPOS merchant account, and then logging into your SabeeApp account, you can make the connection with a couple of clicks through our marketplace. So these 4 steps, all it takes to get started and to start receiving payments, complying with PSD and complying with strong customer authentication. Just to wrap it up, and this is my final slide on why choosing SabeePay is the way to go. It's a fully cloud based solution, which is seamlessly integrated with our PMS. It's compatible with PSD2 as well as strong customer authentication. All the hotel payment types are covered with it, and it has competitive transaction fees, and every successful transaction means an instant payout to your MyPOS merchant account, so there's no delay there. And that's it from my side. I'll be answering questions at the end. Thank you very much for the attention.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Just to take your screen off. Perfect.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so I'm delighted to introduce our second speaker today for everyone, Stefan Stankov. Hope I said that right, who's our Chief Commercial Officer at MyPOS, who's going to talk about innovation in payments. But just before Stefan goes forward, let me just introduce MyPOS to you first. So MyPOS provides integrated and affordable payment solutions, changing the way that businesses accept card payments across all channels, at the counter, online, and via mobile devices. Their mission is to empower every enterprise to reap the benefits of innovation and modern technologies, solve payment challenges, and grow in new and powerful ways. So Stefan, as mentioned, is the Chief Commercial Officer at MyPOS, and he's responsible for the expansion of the MyPOS ecosystem in the European Economic Area. He brings knowledge and experience in development of products and services gained over the last 9 years across more than 40 countries. Stefan's devoted to bringing consistent growth of the MyPOS brand by introducing a different concept to the payments industry, based on smart technology, simple processes, and a customer-centric approach to the business. So Stefan, the screen is all yours.
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks for the intro. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'll be speaking a little bit about our technology, because David already covered everything about payments in the first presentation. So he's done the heavy lifting. For me, it's all that's left is to tell you a little more about the technology behind MyPOS, and MyPOS being a partner for SabeeApp and powering SabeePay. So what we're going to go through, maybe it's good if I share my screen, because it's kind of awkward going through the presentation without it. Okay, do you see my screen now?
Perfect.
Just 1 second. Okay, so what's special about it is, payments are they've become already a hot topic across Europe. Technology is developing more and more, and everything is about payments nowadays, about the companies launching payment solutions, financial services, and this is becoming more and more accessible, which is great because it's enabling us to do business in a smarter way, making it easier for us to do business, making it easier for us to get paid when we're doing business. And the special thing about our partnership with SabeeApp is the fact that we go beyond payments. This is laid down in our concept at MyPOS, is we're not just all about payments, we go beyond payments. And that's why we partner with forward-thinking companies like SabeeApp. More specifically, what's our concept is, we are all about empowering SMEs. So we focus on the small and medium-sized enterprises across the European Economic Area, and we're devoted completely to empowering the SMEs to do business and to utilize innovative technology so they can improve their operations, so they can get paid easily, and they can take full control over their cash flow. With MyPOS, money never stops. You get paid instantly, and you can avail of your funds right away. You don't need to wait a single minute. We have a multi-currency account that we give to all of our customers. It's a cross-border payment solution, so you're not restricted by geography. Whatever you're based across the European Economic Area, you're able to use MyPOS and to easily incorporate card payments into your day-to-day operations. Our software is easy to integrate with any solution that you're using. In this case, we've got a beautiful solution combined with SabeeApp, enabling you as a hotel owner to run your business without going through all the hassle with multiple operations. And obviously, it's a major thing to reduce the risk of manual error. To talk a little bit more about the capabilities of our ecosystem, of our platform, we have a few main things that are of critical importance for our customers. We have an online account that everybody's registering for. David already mentioned the few steps. It's simple, it's user-friendly, and it's available 24/7, 365 on your smartphone. It's a self-setup process. So compared to the typical registration for a bank account, you do it all yourself on your smartphone, and you can upload all of the documents and information needed on your smartphone directly in your application. And in your account, you manage everything from your smartphone. All of the money goes into your account, and you can use it immediately in a split second via your MyPOS business card. It's a business Visa card, which you can use anywhere. You can make transfers from your account. So the funds that you receive, you can then transfer them, make SEPA or Swift transfers. You can transfer them to another account of yours and then disperse the funds, or you can transfer them to your partners if that's what you need to do. How we help the hospitality business is we cover all channels. So whether it's your booking online, whether it's payments that you need to take in person in the hotel, or within an application, or if you want, you can just generate a link and send it to your customer via email, text, or messenger, Viber, WhatsApp, you name it, the preferred technology. We cover all countries across the EEA, and we've got more than 120,000 businesses already trusting us. We cover the entire European Union, plus the UK, and the overseas territories of France, like Martinique, and all other islands. Our customers speak many different languages, and obviously so do we. So we speak 11 languages: English, French, Italian, Dutch, German, Danish, Bulgarian, Romanian, Hungarian, Spanish, and Portuguese. And we are already present in more than 36 countries, and we keep on growing. Speaking of the MyPOS account, this gives you a dashboard that you can use to manage your business entirely in terms of financials. So there's nothing that you need to pay extra. You only pay as much as you use. You can control your terminals. You can control your payment gateway. You can control your cards. You can activate or block your terminals, or you can block your cards. If you lose a card, you can block it immediately, and you don't need to ask anyone to do it for you. You have full control. Our mobile app is designed in a way so it's a pocket-sized toolbox. You can control your business from the smartphone. You can control your financials from your smartphone. You don't need a computer, or you don't even need to call your accountant to do it for you. You have everything at your fingertips. So from the smartphone, you can do the same operations that you can perform from the web app. You can accept payments. You can accept Moto payments from your smartphone. You can also generate links from your smartphone. Our payment requests enables that, and you can send it to your customer so he or she can pay via card or via Apple Pay or Google Pay, the preferred payment method. We cover all of the popular payment methods, so there are no limitations for you to get paid. The business card that comes in a box is a Visa card. It's free of charge, and you can use it anywhere, just the way you're using any other of your cards. You've got real-time reporting in a dashboard. You see what's spent, by whom, where, and for what. And we've also launched recently the platinum cards and a metal card, which grants you with higher limits, spending limits, lounge key pass for over 1,000 business lounges anywhere, which is going to be very nice to have as we start to travel more and more and we go back to normal, which I look forward to seeing very soon, hopefully. What I mentioned about the card, it's a lovely concept that we came up with and that our customers appreciate. And this actually saved a lot of time and hassle for tens of thousands of businesses out there. It's a business in the box concept, meaning that you just get a box and you have your payment terminal inside, you have a card, your Visa card inside, and the rest you can do on your smartphone. You don't need anyone to do it for you. You don't need to wait for a technician. You can set yourself up in minutes and start taking payments the same day. There's, as you can see, we support all of the most popular payment methods like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, UnionPay, JCB, Bancontact, Ideal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, pretty much everything that you would encounter in your daily routine. David mentioned the terminals, so I can dig a little deeper on this one. We've got eco-friendly terminals that are integrated with SabeeApp, and we've also got the traditional payment terminal which prints receipts for the customer. These are all mobile terminals. They are connected via GPRS, so you can carry them around in the hotel. They're not fixed. And we've also got the MyPOS Integra, which is an unattended payment terminal. Now, especially with the pandemic, what we've seen as an emerging necessity is the self-checkout. And this terminal actually enables any business out there to get paid without even having to meet the customer. The payments online, we touched on the different types of payments like reservations, Moto payments, and this is all we cover. It's one single application that's giving all the tools needed to get paid in any channel. So our payment request functionality is something you can easily generate for the specific amount. Just put in the reason for payment, recipient, and you can send via text or email, or you can just copy a link, send via Messenger, WhatsApp, Viber, Line, any messenger that you're using, or in this case, maybe more importantly, that your customer is using. We've got a pay link that's for recurring usage. So you generate one pay link for the same type of product or for the same price, and your customers can be paying again and again using the same link. We support a variety of shopping cart integrations. Most popular shopping cart integrations such as WooCommerce, PrestaShop, and so on. And we've got pay buttons to be embedded into your website. Moto obviously is an essential thing when we're talking about the hospitality industry, and our payment gateway, which we're going to talk about in a minute. The payment request is an ideal solution if you need to be charging consequently after the booking. And again, it can be generated on the go from your smartphone or from your computer. The payment gateway is integrated with SabeePay, so it's secure. We are PCI compliant, and we take just the card payments of the card holder and make an immediate purchase, and the funds are settled seconds after the transactions has been conducted by the customer in your account. And the Moto is as simple as that. You put in the card details of your customer, just the PAN of the card, the expiration date, the CVC, and the amount for the payment, and the reference. You always need a reference when you're taking such payment, so it can be related to a specific booking afterwards. And then to summarize why we're the most suitable partner in this initiative, we cover all channels, all types of payments in a single place. Typically, you need to go to different providers so you can have all of these functionalities in the same place, and we've combined all channels in a very user-friendly application that you can take full control over on your smartphone, and you never need to wait for your money. You get paid instantly without a lengthy contract. The contract is called customer satisfaction. So that's all I'm going to go through today. Stay tuned. We're only getting started.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Stefan. That was really informative. And I have to say, personally, I love those metal credit cards. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Q&A. So we've got a couple of questions have already come in on YouTube. So I'll read them out to you both, and you can put your hand up and decide, I guess, who wants to take the first one. So the first question is, can the system show when the guest pre-authorized money will be released? Usually there's a lot of questions from the guest, and we in turn pass them to their banks, but the banks can't help. Now, as an ex-general manager of hotels, I know this question comes up all the time.
So in terms of defining on what percentage of the booking value should be pre-authorized by the guest, that is something that's defined by the hotel settings inside the SabeeApp account. So we provide free hand for hotels to adjust these settings on their own. And in terms of pre-authorization time exactly, it's something that I'm going to ask Stefan if you know this by heart. Otherwise, I'm going to consult with the team and answer the question after the meeting and in the comment section.
So it's how long after the completion of the pre-authorization the funds are going to be available for the cardholder?
Yeah, so I guess the question would be, if a guest has made a booking and the money's been pre-authorized out their card, but let's say the guest has cancelled the booking and the pre-authorized money is due to go back to the customer, not the hotel, how long will it take to release those funds in the customer's account?
It's not just about releasing, it's about how long it's going to take for the customer to see the money back in their account. I think in the first place, it's about the cancellation. So if there's a delay with the cancellation, obviously there's going to be a delay with the customer receiving their funds or being able to use the funds again. But if you immediately perform a cancellation of the pre-authorization, there is no single answer because it really depends on the different banks. But right now it's a matter of days, and in some cases you can see your money same day, but it can take a couple of days.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, I hope that answers your question, Greco. Okay, so are the EEA markets ready to implement SCA?
I guess I should take this one. Yeah, well, that's an interesting question. I guess there are many answers to it. Many of them are from a technology standpoint. It really depends on the provider, whether the provider is ready to adopt the SCA. In my opinion, not completely, but we're getting there. Technology has improved a lot. There's a lot of different exemptions that payment service providers can use to make the customer journey smoother, and that helps. That really helps. But it works differently for all payment service providers. You can choose whether or not you are going to avail of such exemption. And reality is that what this changed is the amount of information that you need to request from the cardholder. So the experience, the customer experience, that's the main thing for all of us, for you, for the hotel owners, you as a software provider, for us as a payment service provider. The easier, the better, because we're all depending on how user-friendly the process is and whether the customer is going to complete the transaction. So this is it's only adding complexity. Whether we are ready for it, I can say on our end that we are ready for it because we've got smart technology.
Okay, David, anything you want to add on to that at all?
I think Stefan's touched on a very, very good point of making the process as as frictionless and as easy as possible. That's one of the keys here. And as we move forward, like I mentioned previously, I think SCA is going to be something that we're completely used to, and that's something that we expect when we complete online transactions. And even it is going to change as our mindset changes. I think we're going to be a lot more cautious when we're on a merchant site, we're about to make an online transaction, and if there's no SCA involved, it's going to be something very scary, and we're going to be cautious about that. So I think it's about changing mindset, which will take some time. There's also education involved, and yeah, just the technology. If it is something easy to use and frictionless, I think that will help to speed up this process.
And also, if I may add to what David's saying, it's a great thing, and we're going to appreciate the value of strong customer authentication going forward, because it's a very painful topic for the hospitality business. It's called chargebacks. It hurts, and the safer we make each and every transaction, the lesser the risk of chargebacks, until we get to the point in the future where there's going to be or chargebacks are just going to be out of the game, simply because we're able to manage fraudulent transactions, or to reduce the amount of fraudulent transactions. And also, there is no question about chargeback afterwards if it's obvious, if technology is making it obvious that you made this transaction. So then nobody can say that somebody else made a transaction with your card, like in the case with Moto, because this is what's happening with Moto.
We've certainly come a long way from swiping carbon paper and autographing wee slips of paper. Technology certainly moved on. Okay, so another question then. Should hotels expect a decline in reservations by implementing a payment solution for SCA?
Okay, I'm going to be taking this one. In the case of Hungary, where we are based in terms of headquarters, hoteliers face a common situation where guests are not willing to make prepayments, not willing to make a guarantee for their reservation, and they just expect to complete a reservation, no guarantee, no payment whatsoever, and they expect the hotel to keep the room reserved for their arrival. I think this is something that's really sadly unique to the hotel industry, and something that we should be really focusing on changing in the future. This is an example from Hungary, because I took this example because we've heard this from many of our partners here. I'm sure this is the case in several other countries as well, and that's something that we should be changing as we go ahead. What other industry can you mention where you expect to receive a product or a service without having to commit or make any payment or guarantee in advance? I think this is, well, like not sort of nonsense, and something that we should be changing. So if it's done correctly, and I'm referring to strong customer authentication, the whole process of payment, the communication, what's done by the part of the hotel towards the guest, if it's clear enough, then the answer is no. So the hotels shouldn't be expecting a drop in reservations, but it has to be done right in the right way.
Perfect. I have to say, from working in the UK, I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's an awareness issue. I think as long as the customers are aware of what they are agreeing to, then fine. Okay, so the last question I have at the moment now, Stefan, I know you and I discussed this briefly yesterday, but let's discuss it a bit more in detail, I guess, today. So, and that's the question of, do you think we're now at the start of the road? Not, we're not talking a year, 2 years away, but are we now at the start of becoming a cashless society? Is that going to be the end goal where we're at with all this technology?
I don't know if it's an end goal or it's just a natural course of action, but it is the start. It is the start, in my opinion. I guess we're never going to go completely cashless, whatever form of cash we're going to be using, but we're on track to be becoming cashless. And you see several countries already are almost there. Like there's, I can give you several examples with countries in the Nordic region and also in the Netherlands. There are countries where you barely use cash. It's just not common anymore. So this is a natural course of action, in my opinion. With the digitization of our life, we have an implanted smartphone in our hands that we never forget. It's the shocking moment in the morning. If you've forgotten your smartphone, you go crazy. So, and you use your smartphone to do everything. You use your smartphone to get paid, because we even recently launched a soft POS technology, which is right now we're piloting across Europe, meaning that you use the NFC of your smartphone to get paid. So you get paid, you pay, and you manage your business on your smartphone. A lot of people are using applications to manage their entire business. They don't even use desktop. I guess you're seeing a lot of such examples with SabeeApp as well, because you have mobile. And it's inevitable, in my opinion. You got everything. Your bank's application is on your smartphone. You got Apple Pay, you got Google Pay, you got Samsung Pay. Why do you need cash? I would even, if we were live with everybody, I would even ask a question: how many people are carrying cash on a daily basis? Because I'm not because I'm a rebel. First, we're from the card industry, so it's only natural that we use cards. But second, because I don't need it. So I don't know if that's giving you my answer. It's just my theory, but that's the way I see it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I think also, speaking currently with the current global pandemic that we're all going through, I think there has been a decline in cash, because to use cash, you actually have to touch and handle something that multiple people had handled. So using cards or technology was the preferred choice of payment. So yeah, interesting. Definitely something that we should all be keeping our eye on. We just had another question in from Nicholas, who said, who defines at the moment the preferred technology on each transaction? The client's bank, the merchant, or the payment gateway?
Who defines what, sorry?
Okay, so Nicholas has written, who defines at the moment the preferred technology on each transaction? C or Moto? The client's bank, the merchant, or the payment gateway?
Is that on SabeeApp?
Yeah, Nicholas, I'm sorry, I don't know if you've missed out a couple of words, but I don't fully understand your question there. But if you want to retype it in, then we will reply to it after we finish the Q&A. Okay, so I think that's all the questions then that we have so far. So Stefan, thank you very much for joining us today. David, also thank you very much. And to everyone that's online watching this live, thank you very much for joining us. This is one of a number of these events that we're going to be hosting. So keep an eye on our YouTube channel and all our social media, and you'll see when the next event shall be. And we look forward to hosting you all again in the near future. Thank you.
Thanks, Kenny.